My name is Brendan Morrison, and I'm from the DMV, so DC, Maryland, Virginia area. I got into tricking kind of at a really young age. Both my parents coached gymnastics. There was no male gymnastics in my area, so my parents enrolled me in Taekwondo. So I had 8 years of classical Olympic-style Taekwondo with point sparring, and then after that, I quit Taekwondo because of a wrist injury, and I did musical theater, which is very different. But then after that, at the same time, I got into tricking. And I had no real athletic pursuits. I just had a lot of free time, and I just tricked and I tricked and I tricked. And I had that background of gymnastics and Taekwondo, which very much played into my tricking style and in my progression. I don't know. I think my greatest strength is I point my toes. I have very clean form. I have a good combination of proper acrobatic form and proper martial form. The background in Taekwondo allows me to have kicks with hip turnover and that flexibility, but the background in gymnastics means swing chains and twists aren't foreign to me. So it's easier for me to put them all together and kind of see where I am. My training's been good. All I do is train. I'm very much like a fan of religious training rather than scheduled. So I will train every day. When I'm not doing tricking, I'm doing active recovery, or I'm working on my business, or I'm doing work. And that's kind of how I like to live my life. I think my game plan going into the battle is just to have fun, learn. I like to see battles that are more like a session, more of a back and forth. This is my first time competing in a timed battle versus a pass battle. I'm very new to the battle scene. I've always been good, but I've never battled. I met Reggie at Hooked, and he was very nice. He's been meditating in an airport for like 3 days. I loved his Instagram video. Please cut to that Instagram video. It kills me. Like, have you seen it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Talk is cheap. Just go train. Instead of worrying about everybody else, go train. I could sit there in my room and watch a Nuri sampler and a Reggie sampler and really methodically pick apart their technique and what their flaws are, but that doesn't get me better. What'll get me better? Doing push-ups, doing hook kicks, drilling corks, studying myself, trying to improve myself rather than compare myself to Nuri or Reggie. Now it's a battle, but I like to stay in my own head. I have not done board breaking in years, but I love it. It's something that I really enjoy. The big difference in board breaking is it's not tricking. You have to kick with the grain of the wood. You have to kick with more hip turnover. You have to draw a line and kick across it, rather than in tricking, we just want to stick the kick out as big as you can. You need a lot more precision and hip turnover and proper martial technique, and you kind of have to sacrifice a lot of the acrobatic side of it. 2 years ago, I had a really bad knee injury. I tore my ACL, my meniscus, and I severely damaged my LCL. I broke my knee royally. And right after that, I thought my competitive run as a tricker was over. And I kind of stepped away from the competitive scene and focused on conditioning, rehab, stretching. And in doing that, I learned a lot. I was a pre-med student before I dropped out of college to do flips. So that kind of gave me an advantage going into my recovery. And then after I recovered, I wanted to do something to help people. Something to help people like me who got injured. So I started making tutorials each week, and weekly by weekly by weekly, and I never missed a date, and I garnered a following. And I've met so many trickers who just want to be good. And the trickers that follow my tutorials are the grinders. The people who will sit in their backyard and do B-twists and fall again and again and again and then recover and try and try and try. And I very much empathize with that. I connect with that a lot more than I connect with the show business. I like the grind. I like working and working with trickers. So mastering tricking has always been my way of teaching. I don't really prep for different individual trickers. I really try and do my own thing, mostly because I'm busy. I'm building my business. I'm working with people. I'm teaching my students. I try not to, I guess, worry about that as much. It's not that it's coming from a place of not caring, but it's a place of busyness. I very much have a life that I want to live, and if I spend it, there's so much content out there. And there's Nuri, Reggie. Why would I compare myself to them when there's a world of trickers? There's Michael Guthrie, there's Phil Gibbs, and I'm gonna battle them, and I'm gonna do the best I can. But you gotta do what you gotta do, and I'm gonna board break, and hopefully I'll kick them, or I won't, we'll see. With winning or losing, it's completely out of my hands. I try and walk away with new information, walk away with meeting new people. I judged far earlier than I battled because I made tutorials and I taught people, and I had that gymnastics and Taekwondo background. So I never really had to come up on battles, never had to prove myself in the battle arena. And nor do I really feel like I have to. I like coming out, talking to people, meeting people, helping people. If I win, cool. If I don't, it doesn't really hurt me.